Shoot, I had a little group chat. And putting the pictures in there, putting the video in. Come on, we gotta be real. We gotta be real. And I feel like another thing, I'm rambling, but another thing about the church, what Drewski did, I wish he could have went further with it. Because the problem I have with the church is they not real. You got people really struggling with their sin. You know what I'm saying? Struggling, struggling with masturbation, struggling with pornography, struggling with being horny, struggling being lustful. And they feel like they can't express themselves because the church is gonna judge. Why when we was in the world we can express these things, but when we get in the church, oh shoot, oh something wrong with him. Nah, nothing wrong with him or her. There's nothing wrong with them because when they was in the world, they had those same feelings and they acted on them. They acted on them, right? And they realized it was wrong, right? How they was acting on it. It's not a sin to be horny. Let's be real. It's not a sin to be horny. But how you go about your horniness and you can't control it. That's why the Bible said, don't wake love before it's time. Like when you can't control it and you sleeping around with different people and doing different things and being perverted in that way, that's when it's a problem. So okay, then you have your Jesus moment. You're going to church. And you go to church and you trying to grow and you truly trying to change. And you still struggling with those thoughts. Why you can't go?
Maybe I'm the only one that's dealing with these things. And the fact of the matter is this: we are going to miss out on a whole generation if we do not know how to rightly handle the word of truth. And from the standpoint of saying, you know what? This is a safe place for you to discuss what you're struggling with, what you're dealing with, what you're battling with, what's hindering you. But then not only make it a safe place, but provide the accountability necessary so that he can now overcome. He can now overcome after confessing his sin. Because like he said earlier, the very things I dealt with coming into the church, the very things I struggled with being in the church, now all of a sudden, I come into the church and nobody wants to be real about it. Nobody wants to really discuss these troubles, these trials, these burdens, the things I'm dealing with, the things I'm struggling with. Now it's all of a sudden taboo. You can't talk about these things. You can't discuss these matters. Why? Because we're in the church, and the church doesn't talk about those kind of things. So he's saying he's struggling with these thoughts, these ideas, these sins. And look at what happens.
Pastor, why you can't go to people in the church and they guide you and walk through?
There it is.
Walk
with you.
Walk with you.
That's right.
Through whatever you're feeling. Why you can't do that? The church is not real. I don't think pastors today is really talking about like how do you navigate your feelings and emotions? Because we got to be real. It's like,
and again, to his point, there are people who are not navigating their thoughts and their emotions. They're sabotaging themselves. They're in their feelings. They're in their emotions. They're all over the place. And for what? They don't know how to handle that aspect of their life. They don't know how to handle what their life looks like outside. And when I say that, what I mean is this: they don't know how to decipher the difference between I have these emotions and feelings. I don't have to act on them. I don't have to walk those feelings and emotions out. You see, we want to demonize emotions. We want to demonize feelings. But then when it leads to us committing actions that's contrary to the word, now all of a sudden, we can't do that. Now we don't want to, we can't talk about those things. Those things are, man, that's of the devil. And so what he's saying is the church is not being real. He's not judging the church. What he's actually saying is that out of all places in the world, have we really gotten to the place where we can't even discuss basic humanity? We can't discuss the fact that the sin nature has corrupted me so much that I'm sitting in church, hearing you preach, but then watching you as a leader preach to me, but you're struggling with the same thing, but you're not real about it. You're not being honest about it. You have a wife, but you're committing adultery, not just for one time, but for decades. And then want to sit there and try to justify it because you gave place to it, because you weren't being real with who you are. So because you wanted to feed into the narcissism, like he talks about, now here you are as a leader, you're filled with all kinds of lusts. And we've gotten to the point where adultery is the norm now. So we follow behind leaders who have committed adultery and who have disqualified themselves from ministry, but we don't believe that anymore because, oh, there's grace. Just like we don't believe about hell, and you got these homosexual bishops and pastors who are influencing the younger generation that it's okay to be gay, it's okay to be walking in that lifestyle, it's okay to lead a church filled with people. There's no standard a lot of times in most churches. We don't want to talk about hell. We don't want to talk about homosexuality. We have people who, they worship their race, they worship their color. You have people right now, if it were possible for them to dig up the grave of Carlton Pearson, they would. Sitting there worshiping a man, talking about he's gone to a higher consciousness. If that man hasn't truly repented, he's in hell. I didn't put him there. No preacher can put him there. But guess what? Jesus said this. He said in Luke that when the rich man and the poor man died, the rich man went to hell and the poor man went to heaven. And the point of Jesus' teaching was not that all rich people go to hell. The point of Jesus' teaching wasn't all poor people go to heaven. But you best believe that Jesus, the creator of heaven and earth, speaking on the reality that there is a literal hell, you want to talk about consciousness, you're going to know you're in hell when you're there. And it don't matter who you are, what kind of platform you have. You could be the best social media influencer out there. And many people are talking about, the sacred office of Bishop Carlton Pearson and all this. Man, please, he's nothing but flesh. Just like any other man. The one we need to be worshiping is Jesus and him only. And then you got the other side of the spectrum with all these social justice pastors. Woke as a joke, just sitting there and trying to say, oh man, we need this, we need that. Doing all kinds of foolishness in the name of the gospel. They're preaching another gospel. Racism is wrong. All these things that they're trying to accuse the church of being, the truth of the matter is that we need to get out of the whole idea of having our feelings and our emotions on our shoulders. Because now we want to be serving everyone's feelings and emotions. And so you got preachers who are hooping and hollering and doing all these things, and they're not making impact for the kingdom of heaven. It's all about their feelings, their emotions. We need reparations. We need this. We need that. Man, shut up and sit down somewhere. Don't nobody owe you anything. God doesn't even owe us anything. And you want someone to kiss your behind. You want someone following up behind you like you're some kind of God or something. The Lord help these leaders that got all these type of titles and ministries, doing all kinds of stuff in the name of the Lord, and they aren't hitting on anything. but it's out there. And just like this young man is saying, guess what? We're not being real in the church. Let's listen in.
You can go years and sin, years in pornography, struggling. You
Yep.
can go years.
That's
and then
true.
You make this God enter into your heart and you had this transformation. You like, okay, I can't do that no more, but you're still struggling with it, right? You go to church and you like, man, I want to say something about it. I want to be open with my sin, but I feel like the church is gonna judge me.
Man, come
The
on.
church gotta stop it, bro. Like, I remember I used to go to church with my family. It felt so robotic. Like, stop doing that. That's not real. We're not robots. We got emotions. You know what I'm saying? The Bible clearly says, "Be angry but sin not." Right? That also apply with being horny but sin not. That people struggle with depression. Is it a sin to be depressed? Yeah, it's a sin if you act on those thoughts.
Come on.
Because those thoughts and whatever come to your mind, that's a lie from the enemy. How you combat that? Where's the programs in the church that talk about that?
Now, when he's talking programs, he's not saying like workshops or whatever. What he's saying is that where is the discipleship where we can sit down and have these discussions, talk about these things, tackle them, overcome them, and be victorious. Now, people were hating on Donnie McClurkin because he was bold about his stance about God delivering him from homosexuality. And they were like, oh, now he's homophobic and all these things. Whenever you're walking in victory, people will always have something to say. They'll always have something to criticize, to ridicule, to talk about you. But you know what the truth is? We got to be real in the church. And the sugarcoating the gospel is not going to get us to where we need to be in Christ. We need to be open. We need to be honest. Now, for all of you who are enjoying the conversation, and if you want to begin to go and check them out at Wired and Daily, you won't be disappointed. You can go through the whole video, but I just wanted to touch on a segment of it because it's so important that we are intentional in the body of Christ. This is a generation that we must reach for the glory of God, because if not, a lot of these ecumenical pastors will get a hold of this generation and distort them in their views and understanding the gospel in the world in which they live. I'm your host, Pastor Stephen Woods. Thank you for tuning into the channel. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for all the words of encouragement. God bless you, and talk to you in the next video. God bless.